was sick. You're asking me why I didn't talk. I expected to be a little more humane next time. Little did I realize that a couple of years he was to be Kingsway manager in Lagos. So I came to Lagos that time. He knew what to say. I'm sorry that we didn't have to work together. His name was G. Bishop, likable man. Anyway, it was in Lagos that my final destiny to assist in the center, a gentle cluster man. So I was his assistant, distributing Kingsway systems, the bus store. We didn't sell at the distribution center. Until I was told that my manager called and said, you know, you're getting for retirement. You're getting on for retirement, and it looks like I want to transfer you. I want to transfer you. Go if it's done. We'll keep you. I will send you to Damitas to be the supervising manager there. I said, I never send me. I go wherever I wanted. It's all right. Well, at that time, then again, send again to say, well, being transferred to Domino's house as the supervising manager.
So there was Domino's stores at that
time. Oh, yes. A flourishing setup of Bisi. There are 6 Domino. There are 2 in Lagos here. A shop they used to do. The one at Moshi they used to call Welcome. Then there was one at Lawrence, there's one at the Joe, there's about 2 others. 2 or 3 others before I got transferred to the Yaba, to Domino. The only 3 left were the one at Lawrence, Yaba, and Mushin. But before then, I saw something must have happened to have remembered to send me there. The at Mushins used to call at Yaba, used to call at Papa for selection of goods. His name was John. He got transferred to AT&P Supply later. His name was John Hughes. He would come for supplies and say 5 cartons of this, 3 cartons of that, 10 cartons of beer, 15 cartons of water. I said, look, John, don't you think you're wasting your time in that place there? I'm used to supplying people with 200 cartons of that, 500 cartons of gin, 2 cartons, 3 cartons, 2 cartons. That's a small man's business. You have more better thing to do than that. Send me to a place like that. I'll be happier there. We joke within ourselves. He must have gone and told, he must have done some amebo to people. This is how they came. I believe, they haven't told me that, but this I believe how they came to remember me. And when eventually I got transferred, Mr. Bethel said to me, you're going to, was it Bethel? Or was it Bethel, I think? Said to me, look, you're going to Domino's stores while you're there. You know, Chief, the bread baker? I say, yes. I say, get close to him. You might be able to learn certain things from him you never know. Of course, I did to know to you too. It was even before I went to Domino. So this is how they sold the idea to me that in a few months' time, less than 6 months, they said, would I be willing to take over Domino stores? I said, yes, I would want to, if you give me. I said, well, you can take them. I said, just like that? I said, well, I have no money. They said, we'll sort that out. And that's how it happened. That's why I still say I'm a responsibility of UAC. The little gratuity I get, they took the best part of it and left me with a store on trust. And that's how it has been.
I was talking about luck. We'll come back to it. I think the kind of virtue was really increased. Although it must have been that you had proved yourself to be trustworthy over the years.
I tried to. I tried not to touch what didn't belong to me. Even till today, Even till today, I make sure that I don't touch what I can avoid.
The position of having a whole store to yourself, what did it do to you personally?
Made me work a lot harder. No better than when I worked for the company. It did not change my pattern of work, because if I played with the responsibility I had, I might not have been able to handle it on my own. It's my pattern. I worked as hard as possible, but it was extremely difficult because they didn't want me to tell this taking the store over. They said the union might get on them for transferring their staff to a company that meant nothing. So they would take the other staff away. But I shouldn't announce. I should find my people. How can I find people when I don't know? Nobody knows that I'm over a store. But I spoke to a few of the staff there. The kind ones were willing, because I was their manager before I took over. They knew me and they opted to stay with me, which was a gamble for them. There was no guarantee that they'd get their salary, but with USC they did have the guarantee. A private person, they had no guarantee. And a few stayed on. And in the long run, a few stayed on. And today we have one of the old boys, my former shop boy then, today is now a private businessman running a store of his own, which we gave him from the store, and his name is Olu Albert. He stayed on.
What are the differences you can see for yourself now? What Domino was when you took it over and what it is now? Have you expanded? Have you had to close down?
You mean
undergone any major
in Domino? When I took over Domino, I enjoyed the greatest willingness one can expect from anybody. Maybe because when I was with US, I was connected with those companies. They still regarded me, treated me as fair as could be. The suppliers, the USC, the brothers, Cadbury, those young companies then, Cadbury companies then, brothers, and they all treated me with the same care and supplied me with goods, they trusted me almost to a fault, because I was receiving goods from them. They never bothered me to pay. I was receiving goods, paying the money in. At one time the bank became worried. These people are getting so much money and there's a small company. I hope they're not going to broke. They're not going to run away.
But eventually things came up.
Today I have to beg them now. They won't give me.
They won't give you what?
Give me what I want now. They say come pay before.
But you pay them anyway. So I think it's because of things are so difficult.
I appreciate that.
And in fact, I was going to ask you that. How have you been managing with all these what they call economic crunch or whatever going on over there? I see, for instance, that your former place of work, Kingsley, is closed down.
That was things went wrong there. Can go wrong anyway. If one is, but today I have very, very energetic young men. Michael, my son, he is good. Joy, they want to send me to sit down and sleep, and they do it 10 times better. They're doing more modern method. My method then probably was crude. By stage now where they can now touch computer and touch fax and things. I never had things. I have to go a cup of tea. Definitely, the past couple of my sight has been poor, like much. And when I office until well, no, I can't have it. He got me out of the way to go and get treated.
When was that?
Last year.
So you went and came back?
I went and came back.
As you went, you came back?
As I went, I came back. I'm going again this month.
I see. I understand you've been telling them about how you are going and how you are going to come back.
I'm going to come back as a passenger, not as a freight.
How did you come to live in this part of Yaba and have your business areas around you? This is Melbourne, you have your business areas and commercial.
It's just my straight luck. I have my son, Francis. He's a great go-getter. Because I have Yaba store here and Mushin there. Mushin was my office. Mushin was my office there. And I had a lot of dealings with Liver Brothers. I believe I was their #1 distributor when we started. And Francis, people like Francis, Walter, I think, and somebody else, Ballantyne, my nephew, he's not poor fellow. They all worked very hard at top distribution, the way Liver Brothers never thought was possible. And we grew so well, we did so well, that one of the expatriate managers thought that if we latitude, we will begin to dictate policies like somebody did to them in the far east of Middle East somewhere. And so they started cutting our wings. And they started taking my customers away. The customers I built, I took them, used them up. Then they had very few. I was nearly having all their customers. Today, I am probably 23rd. If we have enough to sell in the shops, then we've done very well. In those days, we supplied the whole market.
So
back to the question. Busalis lived here. About that time, they were packing out of the country.
Who are those?
Busalis, some Lebanese business people. They have the Niger Palace here. They also have the Excelsior Hotel in Apapa. And during the stay, they bought a lot of properties. And this happened to be one of them. The way we are now happened to be part of the Lebanese families. Francis acts with them. He's a very smart young man. One important. Yes, very smart young man, indeed. And he's the one who negotiate for these things. And when we first got here, this used to, in fact, be the German embassy's home. The German ambassador, he lived here. This wasn't on. This the fountain, you find it. I call this place a slope. You know, it's beveled down. It's not even, because it's an open ground. They used to have flowers here, and rainfall here. It's only 3 L-shaped building. It's a small house. So when we went to the estate agent, and that's what we could. Listen, man, come on, here, I don't know what you could do. As a hotel, as a club. He's so greedy. He's a club house. So I built this place up, and that was that.
And who were your big neighbors at that time?
Neighbors. Chief Tos Benson was by me here. He almost swore to me that I'll never leave you behind. Then he's run away to Lagos. He's gone to Lagos now, leaving the big people. So there's an office of some sort. The other don't really matter. That's Chief Benson's prep. It used to be a Pearl and Dean. Pearl and Dean used to be an advertising company too. Moved out too.
That you have something about the Rotarian way of life. I remember that the very first time I ever saw you years ago in the Rotary Club of Ikeja when you came into bless us, I think you were already a senior active at that time.
Well, I love Rotary. The Rotary is a way of life. And my respect for Rotary and knowing Rotary for what it ought to be, or should be, as above board. By that I mean the four-way test. We have called the four. You're a Rotarian, sir.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you what the four-way test is. The four-way test should tells what a Rotarian is expected to be. And I love Rotary. Of course, once you're 60, you become by right a senior active. You lose your classification. But I still love Rotary. I'll go to Rotary tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to Rotary.
That leads naturally into your own concept of life. You have said you don't like touching things that don't belong to you. You are Rotarian and believe in the ideal. The ideal is of forward time. I suppose this day and age in present day Nigeria, you must come across a few things that they could say.
The few will really mean accepting things that come your way, over which you can do nothing, and smile. Corruption and responsibility, and the other things that one would never to see again. One begins to think whether those in authority are, or is it due to their exalted position that makes them pretend not to see, be blind to them, or make them think that things in this world are not in any case, you'll still come down. No matter how pleasant up there, you need to. And so, I laugh when I see it. When I see arrogance, I see stubbornness. Like many years ago, on the Herbert Road near St. Dominic Church, the traffic hold up. Somebody came out. Don't you hear him? You may not know who he was. But the traffic jam did not make who he was clear, because he had to face the of whoever he was. That was my appreciation for that. Because you're a big man and traffic jam, too bad. What's anybody got to do with that? Always in your home. So too many things are wrong. Some cannot be right, like what we have. Our mosques don't seem to be finishing. We've got to put up with those. But there are many other things. The dust in the town we can avoid. People can government parastatal. Private companies are not as government for that. Get away. If Michael will not pay his staff on the last day of the month, I don't think he'll get home. For months, and the people get admired. So there we are.
Don't think in this kind of situation, this that would such as that this becomes so bad, this country. Did you ever envisage
the country? For us as Domino, we have faced the situation and abreast and awareness making sure that we put the situation into in short worse off than years ago. I think we're better off.
I wish you the best with many more years of.
I want to thank all the suppliers, especially my workers, the workers, those who belong, those who are employees, the customers who keep us alive, the ones that keep us alive. Customers are our number one asset. If the supplier sent his goods and the customer didn't take the goods, are no use to us. And the customer, if the staff there and they serve the customer, they back again. So I appreciate all that, and I also, in particular, and thank our
reflection, I guess. So. I see that the anniversary comes up on the 13th of October.
That's right.
And I've also noticed it's a 13th commercial. Somebody tell you that on the lucky number, give you such stuff?
No, nothing to me other than one day in the month, 30, 31, as the case may be. So it has never struck special or unusual.
But you've heard, of course.
I've heard of it. Most hotels in big countries, I hear they don't even have 13 on their what you call it, on their flights, on their
floors,
because it's an odd number.
Yes, and talking about flights, some don't have that number on any seat either in the aircraft. But you don't worry about it. And
I can have all the 13s that are available.
You don't believe in this matter of luck generally?
No. I believe in behaviors, not luck.
So you don't read the papers early in the year when you have all these forecasts, what the year is going to bring?
I read them for not because I believe them.
Doesn't that have any bearing at all in business? When people talk about fortunes and they are talking about luck?
I believe luck may be useful, but you got to put hard work and passion and the desire to do the damn thing. Not leaving it to luck, you can go very far. I don't think you go very far with luck.
You are doing the 30th, so you started up this business.
That's right.
Let's run quickly half century that came before the business, which I'm sure didn't go very quickly. Where did you start, if you were to recall a glimmer of life? Where would you say it was?
Life would suggest when I left school. Or you think about life when I was born. Well, I was born, should I say, into UAC. I may be stupid putting it that way, but do you know, sir, from the day I went to school to the day I am enjoying what came from either Niger Company or UAC. My father was a Niger Company. And he worked for Niger Company. And having the thing he spent was money he earned from Niger Company, which became UAC. And the day that I'm retired, I still earn UAC pension. So they sustained me from day one to today.
What part of the country which your father worked?
My father in the villages, but the one I remember, he told me was in my father's place, in the River State. It used to be one of the senior headquarters of Niger Company. So it was a very big export area. eventually he met my mother eventually. And then he moved on to a place called Ghana, which he built himself for the Niger Company. A place where to Burutu. It used to be a place where the boats were laid to rest. And the sand silted up until it became an island. And it was on this island that they built a company, a shop. And my father worked there.
Your mother was Makassar, so that suggests that your father came from...
was a Scots.
A Scotsman?
Yes.
I think you have something about a Scotsman.
I don't know. Well,
frugality, disciplinary. And a very, very bounteous gift for laughter.
Yes.
I understand that Scotsmen have very sharp wit. In fact, they laugh at themselves most of the time. So that you're laughing at them.
Well, I don't know. My mother always told me when I grew up to earn a few naira, a few shillings then, and because I didn't have enough, maybe at that time, or maybe because I got into responsibility early, and I discovered, unfortunately, that one had to wear a frown to be understood by subordinates. You smile and give an instruction, they think you're joking. But you have to frown and they say, oh, he means what he's saying. What I find until today, even if I have to talk to my people, if I smile and they say, no, mind me, they play. But if I frown, he's all right, he's serious. So my mother said to me, the trouble with you is you frown too often. I said, but I'm your son, so maybe I got it from you.
You know, how soon would you say the responsibility came in life?
For me?
Yes.
At the age of 15.
And what led to that?
Because I was handicapped. I left the country. When I was at school, he left me at school in St. Onitsha. I speak a bit of Igbo, in Igbo. I speak a bit of Igbo because I schooled there. And when he knew he was going, he was going. He was not a young man, he was a growing old man too. He asked the mission to take care of me until I was able to look after myself.
That's the Roman Catholic mission?
The Roman Catholic mission, St. Mary's in Onitsha town. But he was sensitive enough to have left me in one of his subordinates, friends too, who asked to rely on me. You never can tell. That was what he told him. That was when he left, and in 1929, the priest came to and then decided to throw me out of the mission because they didn't want any more mission boys. But before then, my father had asked the mission to take care of me until I was able to look after myself. And at the age of 15, I didn't think I was able to look after myself. At least I never felt so. So I went to report to the bishop, the Catholic bishop in Onitsha Waterside, that he was known as Bishop Shanahan. He was a known name, a very known mission hierarchy. He said to me, go back to the mission. I won't let you go. This is the way we lost one of our nice boys. They threw him out of the mission, and we had hoped he would become a priest. Now he's lost. We don't want to lose you. Go back. So I went back, and the priest there was very unhappy that I came back. A few months after, this friend of my dad, who my father left me in his care, said to me, Molly, come down. My time is getting up, and I better find a job for you before I leave the country. And so, middle of June, over the middle of 1929, I left Onitsha and came to a place called Okpa. And that's where my life started at the age of 15.
So you became a clerk?
I became a clerk, a junior clerk.
At the age of 15?
Age of 15. I'm not Sabi Buku, just in case if anybody's worried.
But I think you've done very well for somebody who knows how people. So, as a clerk, what were your duties there then?
I was a junior clerk there. Mr. Goodall happened to be this gentleman's name. He put me on a salary of 15 shillings. That was a good name. Because the laborers were earning 1 and 6 a month.
That is.
They were earning 1 and 6 a month. The head laborer was in about 2 shillings, I think, or 2 and 6. But 15 shillings, good pay. So towards the year, noise were coming from London office. That was the amalgamation, the UAC getting amalgamated, becoming the UAC, because it was a Niger company, Eastern Trade Corporation, African Traders Company, Tangalekis, African Oil Nuts, all named them. There are so many competitors. Here there are 2 stations and two outlets in the same place in Okwari. There were 2 expatriate managers, so they came. These big men came, the amalgamation, cutting down on staff, like we're all suffering today now. They sacked one manager and used one to look after the other branch. But before then, Mr. Goodall had put me on £1 salary, increased my pay from 15 shillings. He thought I was good enough. And when he heard that these big top men were coming, he said to me, "My name is Molly, by the way. I'm afraid to pay on 15 shillings, you know. Because if these big men come out and find you in the pound column, they'll sack you." And they took pence. So he put me back on 15 shillings. I saw the wages sheet, he cancelled it, put me back on 15 shillings. Because I was the office clerk anyway. But he gave me 5 shillings out of pocket. I don't know what his salary was, maybe a month or so. I don't know. It was the hit like everybody else. So that's how I started, 15 shillings. And then towards he hasn't been, I was transferred to the other side of the company, where he had an expatriate. And there I worked on till I got promoted from one thing to the other, until they sent me to run a place which my father worked in at Ghana as the clerk in charge there. I was said to be the youngest clerk in charge the Niger company had. This, because at 22 or 23, there can't be many people.
You must have had some little bit of, I wouldn't call it special treatment, but maybe a bit of privilege, being the son of a man who was in that position.
No way.
And then.
No way.
But then being again the ward, a good old. And you mentioned the matter of the extra 5 shillings.
Nobody had said about that. Only him and I knew that.
You would have enjoyed anyway a lot of privilege when you were a child, when you were being the child of a
From where?
white man.
Do you know, he even said to me, "Molly, I don't think many Europeans like to see white children by black mothers in this country. You may need to, don't you think you better change your name from Bruce? Maybe they might have that against you." What do you expect me to do? To answer Goodall? He said no.
So in a way it was a bit of a disadvantage, a bit of an advantage.
More than the disadvantage. I just wondered why he never even kept his passion until he went back to the country. My father, I meant.
Yes. So let's say it was a good thing he did it.
Apparently, yes. I'm glad he did it. Then he said to me, "What about answering customs?" I answered, say, "Mr. Customs." They want me to Mr. Customs. So I'm not afraid. I'm not ashamed of my father's name. If you kill me, or if you whatever you do to me because I happen to be Bruce, then too bad. Blame him, not me. Anyway, that was that.
What was business like in those days? I think they didn't call it business, they called it trading, didn't they?
Trade. Well, my father used to be what we call a palm oil ruffian.
Ruffian.
Palm oil ruffian. the coastal areas are called ruffian. Buy palm oil. Little house, sell prints, sell tobacco, cigarettes, little staple lines. Staple lines. The odd things that the local people would want. But it was interesting. People were very, very much traded. People traded. In time when I got much on with the company, we used to sell tobacco by the cases. Some in cases, some in barrels, hogs heads we call them, and then cases 1,500 and 750 the case. The market trust women used to come and we issue them. They come and pay, take so many, pay so much, take so many and pay so much, and so on. Trade was interesting. For want of comparison, the traders, of course, were adulterating produce like nobody's business.
Really?
The palm oil canal people, the palm oil people, the palm canal people, and the produce examiners were making a fortune.
And there's nothing you could do about it?
Well, there's nothing anybody could do. The trader would deliberately sink his bag of kernel in the creek, tied to the string, tied to the tree, on his way to the store, to enable the oil, the palm kernel to swell up. So he would have filled his bag three-quarter full, almost three-quarter full. By the time he takes it off the water the next day, it's almost full. And that's plenty of water. He brings it to the beach and says, "Oh, my canoe kapasai, oh, sorry, my canoe kapasai." They say, "All right, go and dry your palm kernel." They dry the palm kernel. We all know that he sank the canoe somewhere. Because the store had to suffer from loss in weight. And when you buy the produce, the shrinkage between the buying point and Burutu, which is the shipping point. Now, by the time the produce gets to Burutu, it becomes a very, very heavy shrinkage. Then the company, the branch gets a heavy blame, serious blame. And too often, the produce examiners are responsible for passing the oil. How much? 1 shilling, 2 shilling. Hey, make 5 shilling. Right. They pass so many coolers. We then buy produce in coolers, not in barrels. And then they don't de-shell them well. Instead of buying kernel, you buy kernel and shell.
As the clerk in charge, you were something like a manager in training, or assistant manager, or a junior manager?
Clerk in charge, you are left alone. Well, that's the reason for being called the clerk in charge. You left alone because you got a boss, a manager from a bigger station coming to supervise.
Working in that first station must have recalled some memories of life with you.
Yes, because I walked into the office which he always kept. And on that desk I even found a paperweight. It's on my office now. If this was my office, I would have shown you the paperweight there. WMB, Akasa, brass. He left it there because they were using it as a hammer to nail things on the wall. I took it away without any permission because it's my father's property. If that was stealing, then too bad.
And you still have that's very interesting. When you left there, where did you then go?
I went to a place called Abo.
Yes.
There the company forgot me for 7 years.
Forgot you?
I was there for 7 years. Whether I was that good, I was no good. They moved me left and right, I suppose. I got married. My wife, I love very much. Girl, young girl, looks after me till today. When they found her that this was a civilized part of this bush, I think, and me, so they transferred me. Tell me that, but that's what I suspected.
Why you were at
yes,
married?
that's right.
in Abo, the lady.
It was in Lagos here.
Lagos.
No. Who can help me? The Catholic convent here. St. Mary's, yes.
Just like yours. You were in St. Mary's, Onitsha.
That's right.
And you were in
St. Mary's, Lagos, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
That's quite a school, St. Mary's.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Almost every male close relative of mine, 2 or 3 dollars went to St. Mary's. But how is the connection?
Because
I see.
my mother from Akasa, her mother is from Akasa. Worked Akasa too. Her father worked in the department. He was a very younger man. If we have time, I'll show you his picture. Sporty man. Well, he was an engineer. And, we had this. We got this wife. So the 2 young girls then grew up as friends, and one saw the other daughter, and the other said, "You got a son. My son will marry your daughter," and that's how it started. So in fact, I got attached to her, booked for her if anything at all. And when she grew up,
No, it's okay. It's part of okay.
oh, it's better. Did you put it on for?
Now, so from Abo,
Sorry.
Abo, you have now become a man of your own.
That's right.
Raising a family.
That's right.
And then
No, it hadn't started. Well, yes.
yes, so after that, then you went to where?
I was transferred to Lagos. Well, to Lagos, yeah. No, to Warri. And store they call the haberdashery store. So not haberdashery, singlets, towels, blankets, and so on. That's where I served for some time before I was moved again.
In those days, UAC manufactured some items of haberdashery in their factories and so on. I suppose they factory.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Did not. I don't think they manufactured.
So it was all imported.
All imported, yes. They manufactured anything. It was all imported.
When did you become a manager?
When? Well, from the Warri haberdashery store.